Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
Art is the reshaping of reality by man to present it in an understandable way. As the artist recreates the world around him, it is shaped by how he sees it and what he believes in. The Indian artist did not attempt to depict only the material reality around him. He wished to share the complete experience of the moment, not just the photographic presentation of the shapes around him. Beauty for the Indian artist has been a reflection of the glory of God. In fact, for the ancient artist, the experience of beauty, the ecstasy on seeing nature or art which is truly beautiful, has been considered as akin to Brahmanand or the final bliss. Join us on this journey into the heart of the Indian tradition of painting. Come with us to the gorge of the Vaghora river, where Ajanta was created, to the courts of the Mughals and the Deccani Sultans. Journey with us through the deserts of Rajasthan and the icy lands of Ladakh and Lahore Spiti. In the verdant south and in the gentle hills of the north, experience the compassionate view of life that is enshrined in Indian painting.
Through the centuries, the arid land of Rajasthan has been a place where man has challenged adversity. The hot winds blow here, and survival itself is a struggle. In the year 1001, Mahmud of Ghazni swooped through these arid plains to raid the riches of the famed Somnath temple. This was only the first of 17 raids that he carried out in the next 27 years. Then on, the temples and ancient cultural heritage of Western India remained under threat. The Rajputs who ruled in Rajasthan consisted of many clans who were constantly in conflict with each other. The lack of unity between them kept the doors open for invaders, who came and dominated the Indian plains from the 13th century onwards. Besides the rivalry with each other, the Rajputs also remained in conflict with the Afghan and other courts in Delhi. With the consolidation of Mughal rule under Akbar in the 16th century, a new era dawned upon the plains of Rajasthan. After many centuries, there was peace, which led to a resurgence of art and culture. We know from the prolific manuscript paintings which survive that the tradition of painting was extremely well developed in Rajasthan. However, there are no mural paintings of the early period which survive. This is understandable since there were numerous foreign raids and invasions from the 11th century onwards. there was great plunder and destruction of temples in this region. In keeping with the ancient tradition, these temples would surely have housed a great treasure of fine mural paintings. This was a turbulent period for art and culture in northern India. In the ancient tradition, paintings were made only on religious themes. One can understand that after the 11th century, with foreign invasions and changed rulers, religious paintings made openly upon the walls would not have been encouraged. With the coming of Mughal rule, most of the constantly warring Rajput chieftains accepted Mughal sovereignty. The period of Akbar was one of great transformation and growth in the plains of northern India. He forged new bonds with the Rajputs by marrying their princesses. An unprecedented cultural confluence took place. On the one hand, Mughal architectural styles evolved as Akbar built palaces and shrines for his Rajput queens. On the other hand, Rajputs who visited his courts took back to Rajasthan the grand manners and culture of the imperial court. Mughal times also brought prosperity to feudal Rajput chieftains, who were given high ranks in the administration and even commander-in-chief in the Mughal army. The period of peace which was ushered in created the well-being and leisure which encouraged art. The many Rajputs who visited the Mughal courts were also exposed to new subjects and new styles of painting which developed there. This was a remarkable meeting of historic developments, which led to the most prolific creation of mural paintings anywhere in India in the medieval period. In this rich and varied tapestry of the paintings of Rajasthan, we see the constant interaction and confluence of two cultures. On the one hand, there is the ancient tradition of mural painting coming from Ellora and other great sites. The other constant influence in the murals of Rajasthan of the entire medieval period is that of the Mughal court. Major changes in the subjects of Indian paintings and fine developments of technique take place in the Mughal courts. These are reflected constantly in the paintings of Rajasthan. The chieftains of Rajasthan now had the prosperity to indulge in the decoration of their courts, and yet they were subordinated to another court. The result is an ever-changing blend of subjects and styles of painting.
Unlike in the Mughal courts, the tradition of mural painting was revived in Rajasthan. However, there was a change in the purpose of the paintings. In the ancient tradition, the purpose of murals was sublime. They were supposed to transcend all material considerations and take man to a state which was close to Brahmanand. Whereas ancient murals had portrayed divine compassion and the inward look, now the portraits of chieftains and rulers began to be made upon the walls of the palaces of Rajasthan.
Early Indian paintings depicted universal themes. Individuals were not important in these. The importance of the individual came up for the first time in Mughal paintings, and portraits were made in large numbers. Portraiture was enthusiastically adopted by the Rajputs. Under the umbrella of Mughal rule, these portraits were among the many new ways they found to assert their importance.
The whole idea of portraying an actual person, painting a portrait of a living person as opposed to just painting a picture of a god or a religious story was quite new in the 17th century in India. It was something that was actually introduced, of course, by the Mughals, who in turn really got it from Europe. And it was when the Rajput rulers were serving at the Mughal court that they became exposed to this whole idea of portraiture and the whole concept of what you might call documentary painting, instead of illustrating the religious texts, which is something that had been going on already for several hundred, if not 1,000 years. Now they were thinking that they could start actually depicting themselves and their colleagues and their families in actual documents.
The many floors of the Juna Mahal at Dungarpur are painted profusely. In these paintings we see the taste for opulence and the lavish use of gold. The figure of the ruler occupies a position of grand importance, and the emphasis is on depicting the valor and chivalry of the clan. There are religious themes too. The emphasis is on the use of bright and many colors. Indeed, the overall effect is one of overwhelming color and grandeur. The culture and magnificence of Rajasthan comes alive in the lake city of Udaipur. This was the capital of the state of Mewar, which stoutly resisted Mughal rule in the 16th century. Finally, they accepted the overlordship of the Mughals and had cordial relations with the Mughal court. Here, in the Jag Mandir, are remnants of some of Udaipur's finest paintings. Musicians and celestial dancers cover the ceiling. The palace at Udaipur is one of the grandest structures in Rajasthan. Many of the rooms here have surviving mural paintings. Here, the Chitram Ka Burj is virtually an art gallery with paintings of the 18th century. This is also a striking example of the new style of murals in Rajasthan. These are a departure from the ancient tradition of wall painting. The ancient murals were made for public viewing from a natural viewing distance. These look like miniature paintings made upon the walls. Quite often, they are made at heights where it is difficult to see their miniaturized details. It is in the paintings of the frolicking elephants and other animals that the strength of the traditional Indian painter is seen at its best. These paintings also provide a window to the architecture and the world of those times. The finest paintings of the palace are in the Moti Mahal. In keeping with older traditions, these are made on religious themes. The expressions in these paintings have gentleness and depth. The Havelis of Udaipur present a lively world of paintings. These paintings have simple colors and also appear to be made for the purpose of decoration. There is a simplicity and zest in these. They appear rooted in local folklore and older traditions. The Indian artist's empathy with animals provides the liveliest touch in these paintings. A Haveli in the close-by town of Nathdwara has beautiful murals. Again, these show the blend of themes and cultures in the tapestry of medieval Rajasthan. The palace at Bundi presents some of the best preserved Rajasthani murals of the 18th century. Here again, we see a profusion of subjects. The paintings appear to be large-scale miniatures painted upon the walls. The closeness of the style to that of contemporaneous miniatures makes it appear as though these could have been copied from actual miniature paintings. The Chitrashala of the palace presents us the view of a medieval gallery of paintings. Themes of court life and religious ones are painted in a profusion, covering every inch of wall space. Women are painted in as natural a manner as the men. The simplicity of gentle expressions, and the joyous spirit of life are seen in the best of these Rajasthani murals. The nearby state of Kota also has a long tradition of painting. The subjects are numerous and varied. They appear to reflect the many influences coming to the artists and their patrons. It is a world of kaleidoscopic color and a sense of the changing reality of those times. Here we see religious themes, those of the European visitors, and so many others, all made upon the same wall. A wall on an upper floor of the Kota Palace amply demonstrates the fine work of the Kota painters of the 18th century. Here we see a remarkable confluence of the styles and technique of the best of Mughal paintings and those of Rajasthan. This hunting scene displays a perfect knowledge of anatomy and movement. Much more than that, the artist brings to us the dynamic flurry of urgent movements in the hunt and a sense of the life within. The lines are extremely sure and impart a sense of gracefulness to the painted figures of men and animals. This painted wall is one of the masterpieces of the Murals of Rajasthan. The excellence of painting on the wall of the Kota Palace is seen again in the Bhojanshala of the Amer Palace near Jaipur. These exquisite drawings are on eternal religious themes. In depicting these divine images, the artist appears to transcend himself. They come to us with that easy and natural sense which reminds us of the manner of ancient art. The twinkle in the eye of the elephant is in keeping with the sensitivity towards all forms of life in classic Indian art. These are made in panels upon the wall and are small in scale for murals. However, the sensitivity and honest depiction of the painter creates an intimacy between the viewer and the painting. These are indeed among the most valuable murals of Rajasthan. The fort of Nagore has a long history connected with the Mughals. The wall paintings here in the Hawa Mahal take us into a world of natural grace. Women are seen engaged in various activities in a completely unself-conscious and easy manner. They are among the most beautiful mural paintings of Rajasthan. Rajasthan was on the major trade routes of days gone by. A trading community called the Marwadis flourished here and built some of the largest havelis. The area of Shikhavati has a concentration of 19th and 20th century havelis which are profusely painted. The paintings here reflect the opulence of the Marwadis. They had made their fortunes at that time by trading with the British East India Company, who controlled the Indian ports. The interiors and exteriors of the havelis are profusely painted. The cultural impact of the sudden exposure to European influences is reflected in the varied and indiscriminate depiction of a wide array of subjects. These range from the eternal religious themes to the new inventions which the traders would have seen in their visits to the major port cities. In the changing times of the 20th century, and with the impact of aggressive foreign cultures, we see the breakdown of the ancient traditions which governed mural paintings. The painters of ancient times sought to take us to the portals of eternal bliss through their sublime paintings. The same gods are painted here in the 20th century in an entirely changed manner, which reflects the confusion of society.
The murals of Rajasthan come at an important point in the history of Indian painting. After almost 500 years in which we do not have murals, the proud Rajputs are inspired to make paintings upon the walls. An ancient Indian tradition is resurrected. We also see the beginning of a new aesthetic which was deeply influenced by what was happening in the Mughal courts. The influence later spreads to the Pahari hills and results in some of the most exquisite Indian paintings of the second millennium.